Just use the arrows to pull. Yeah. Okay. Cindy, shouldn't it be totally dark?
I think it's so you can read it.
Oh, right. Yeah. It's dark. Okay. The lineage of feminism and urbanity. Feminism, urbanity, Medusa, graph. Architecture and urban design are to feminism as history is to future. Let's learn from history to plan a better future. Cities, paradigms from the image of the body. The first structures in cities were planned from our bodies, for shelter, worship, and the space we occupy. The word economy originates from the Greek meaning home. Through the ages, women have used their bodies to build communities. Their concerns developed from the domestic sphere to the urban square, and their form, beauty, and ideas continue to be commodified and constructed. Old Blood Club. Cities were a macrocosm of the human form and ideas. They began to take on human characteristics like sexuality, gender, humor, labor, and spending habits. Agriculture allowed for a density and stasis of previously nomadic humans. At first, women were compared to wild or tame nature, caring for the home and children, but they were dependents of men who first hunted, tended crops, and earned incomes, and were associated with the dense city. But enlightenment and revolutions happened, and women became virtuous as cities birthed new socioeconomic independence, inalienable rights, and a master plan for humanity. When women tried to get a piece of the cake, they were denied and personified as incapable, promiscuous, and evil, just like the city during industrialization. At least in this modern city, women could earn economic independence and eventually suffrage, property rights, and almost the whole shebang. At first, women were compared to wild or tame nature, caring for the home and children, but they were dependents of men who first hunted, tended crops, and earned incomes. Men were associated with the dense, dangerous city, but enlightenment and the revolutions happened, and women became virtuous. Did I read this already? No?
Yeah.
This sounds really familiar.
Yeah.
Just go, okay.
I think we need to get
And women became virtuous as cities birthed new socioeconomic independence, inalienable rights, and a master plan for humanity. When women tried to get a piece of the cake, they were denied and personified as incapable, promiscuous, and evil, just like the city during industrialization. At least in this modern city, women could earn economic independence and eventually suffrage, property rights, and almost the whole shebang. According to Victor Hugo, the first casualties of the 1848 revolution were two prostitutes in Paris, who raised their skirts to their waist and dared the National Guard to fire into the belly of a woman. They were shot down to win universal suffrage and labor rights for men. It is difficult to imagine the idea of a city without Rome, Paris, or New York. Some imagined cities were realized, some weren't, and some cities were destroyed due to economic hardship, technological pace, lack of support, or political ownership. The city was unrealized because of all those factors. Hitler's Volksschau, how do you say that? To the left, what was it?
Vauxhall.
Oh, Volkshalle. To the left was planned by Albert Speer as an Uber Pantheon for his speeches. It featured a cupola so large it would have amplified his voice so much it would have deafened the 180,000 occupants. Also due to the microclimate inside, their collective breath would have condensed at the oculus and rained back on the audience. Here's another figure from World War II known for a more intimate architecture. In the bottom center. After World War II, the first suburb in the U.S. was created for patriotic unity, a haven for the family, for women, and safety from terrorism or communism. The idea was that if a family had a yard to tend to and a house to maintain, they wouldn't have time for communist activities. The city remained the source of evil alienation and was considered unsafe for decades. Still, people developed the city and fought for its survival, like Jane Jacobs against Robert Moses. Mid to late century. The city of tomorrow also hosted new commodities and ideas. Again, we saw a revolution in cities. Many of the caricatures of feminism were set in stone, while integration caused white flight to the suburbs. The idyllic landscape of small-town America was converted to big business, and eventually, in the 80s, new urbanism constructed a contemporary consumerist framework where desperate housewives could safely walk their dogs to Starbucks. Like this development by Disney World in Celebration, Florida, where the residents are 94% white and 6% other. Many Tea Party members argue for feminine nostalgia where women return to the home and that this will solve our education woes, crime, and unemployment. A suburban solution for an urban problem. For centuries, men have attempted to map the female form. To better understand what we're made of, and propose what we want or need. The city of today. Our female team of urban designers have envisioned a new city, the city of today. Initial investment, what is the city of today? A fresh, feminine urbanism, refuge from patriarchal order. Optimized experience, efficient consumption and production, safe social intercourse, sustainable, natural, intimate development. What does this new city consist of? Sustainable, natural development. Efficient consumption and production. Ooh. Is this a good one? Safe social intercourse. Intimate development. Optimized experience. Dream team. How do we build it? Those are all those people. Projections. Eventual city liftoff, the weightless city. Eventual city construction will occur during the maturation, sagging of the city of today. Liftoff will occur during the degradation of the planet. Weightlessness will be achieved by technology. A magical urbanism is required to overcome the challenges of ecofeminism and sustainable urbanism. Potential investors, partner profile, looking for 100 round A investors, net worth $1 billion. In preliminary talks with sovereign wealth funds. UK, Libya, ? China, already in preliminary discovery process. State pension funds, California already has a representative on our board. Focus on high net worth individuals and funds looking to deploy a large chunk of long-term capital for returns exceeding 10% annualized. Compounded annualized returns. Another graph. Payouts. Waterfall structure. First round investors see principal proceeds immediately. Full payouts by 2030. Mezzanine investors cover shortfall until senior notes are retired. Capital structure, city of today. Notes structured as convertible equity. Payout culminates in form of cooperative female ownership. Project implicitly subsidized with government backstop against debt. Corporate governance, city of today. Management, female governance provides ideal leadership given the diverse and powerful base of the city of today's female constituents. Non-financial risk, city of today. Insurance through AIG, backstops by government in case of riots, natural disaster, or invasion of hostiles. Non-senior investors take first hit. And that's it. And now, we're open for Q&A for potential investors.
So I have a question. So, many shops today are deploying fresh funds whose primary participants include endowments, charitable foundations, and the like. Those institutions have investment policies that mandate exposure to socially responsible investments such as alternative energy, green building, social mobility, peaceful research, etc. Would this project qualify for that investment criteria? And if so, how many of those buckets can we satisfy with this investment?
I think that's a great question, actually. I'm glad you brought it up. If we go back to this previous slide where we broke down the construction, I can pull it up. You'll see that we will be able to apply for multiple subsidies, government subsidies, both local, national, and international. The city is actually built on waste, so much like the Battery Park or Fresh Kills or Mount Trashmore in Florida, we're basically taking waste and converting it into usable space, both parkland and mixed-use development. So I think we're going to get a pretty big payout from tax benefits and the like.
So we're seeing a lot of these sovereign wealth funds are coming in with some pretty big petrodollars from Arab states. Is this something that we could see as Sharia compliant? So that we could get a piece of those dollars? We're talking about significant billions that need to be in the Sharia compliant versus the non-Sharia compliant.
Yeah, actually, if you think about what the opportunities are for technology, particularly with respect to the building surface, you can see that we're looking into investing in aerogel technologies, which has a direct correlation to these foreign sovereign oil funds.
I just want to say I think it's a really great proposal. It's really thought out and innovative and just fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity here. We've got a lot of private wealth clients. So you said your cutoff was $1 billion. I think we've got some private wealth clients that could be interested in this kind of thing. I mean, I think right now what we're looking for in a sort of highly risky world is investments that have sort of long-term returns that's based on a fundamental real estate valuation. Backstopped by the government, because as you can see right now with what's going on in Japan, certainly with what happened with the oil spill, we really can't, half the things we're investing in, we can't even backstop, we really can't even insure them. So